It moves slower than you walk. It weighs more than 14,000 cars stacked on top of each other. And right now, after 30 years of tearing open the earth, its days are numbered. This is the Bagger 293, the largest land vehicle ever built by human hands. A machine so vast that 5 people are all it takes to operate it. A machine that can swallow 240,000 cubic meters of earth in a single day. That is 96 Olympic swimming pools gone every 24 hours. And it is being retired. Not because it broke down, not because something bigger came along, but because the world it was built to feed is running out of time. The story starts in the Rhineland, a flat stretch of Western Germany sitting on top of one of the richest deposits of lignite coal on the planet. Lignite is the lowest grade of coal. Softer, younger, wetter. But there is a staggering amount of it here, and in the second half of the 20th century, it was fueling Germany. To reach that coal, you have to move everything sitting on top of it. In mining, this is called overburden. Soil, rock, clay, sometimes 300 meters deep. That is not a job for a normal excavator. That is a job for something that had never existed before. Planning began in the 1980s. The German company Takraf was given a mission that sounded almost impossible. Build a continuous excavation machine large enough to reshape entire landscapes, powerful enough to run without stopping. Construction took 5 years and cost around $100 million. In 1995, the Bagger 293 went to work at the Hambach surface mine. The numbers are hard to make sense of in human terms. It stands 96 meters tall, a 30-story building on tracks. It stretches 225 meters from end to end. The bucket wheel at its front measures more than 21 meters across, ringed with 18 individual buckets, each large enough to hold a small car. The wheel spins continuously, biting into the earth, depositing everything onto conveyor belts in a constant river of rock and dirt. It draws 16 megawatts of electricity from the German grid through cables that follow it as it crawls across the mine at 0.6 kilometers per hour. For 3 decades, it removed up to 250 million cubic meters of overburden a year, exposing lignite seams that kept power stations like Neurath and Niederaussem running, facilities that provided baseload electricity to millions of German homes. At its peak, the Hambach mine produced around 40 million tons of lignite annually. This was not just acceptable, it was considered essential. Then, the pressure changed. In July 2020, the German parliament passed the Coal Phase Out Act, setting a national deadline of 2038 for all coal-fired power generation to end. The law included 4.35 billion euros in compensation for operators. But 2038 quickly became a starting point. In 2022, RWE, the energy giant that operates Hambach, agreed to exit lignite in the Rhineland by 2030, 8 years early, as part of a broader deal to invest in renewables and help stabilize Germany's electricity supply during the energy crisis triggered by the war in Ukraine. That 2030 deadline is now confirmed, which means the Bagger 293's working life has an end date. The pit it spent 30 years carving will not stay empty. Once extraction ends, groundwater and controlled inflow will slowly fill it. A lake covering roughly 36 square kilometers will form where the mine once was, one of the largest in Germany. The Hambach forest at its edge, once nearly destroyed by the mine's expansion and defended by protesters who lived in tree houses for years, will grow back into the landscape surrounding it. The machine that dug the hole will never see the lake. Disassembly, when it comes, will require the same engineering precision as construction. There is no simple way to retire something this large. It will be taken apart section by section, on site, the same way it was built. But for now, it is still out there, crawling, digging, doing the only thing it was ever made to do. The world's largest land vehicle, built in 5 years, operated by 5 people, running for 30 years, and ending not with a mechanical failure, but with a decision made in parliament, in boardrooms, in the slow turning of an entire civilization away from the fuel that built it. It moves slower than you walk, and the world moved on without it.